Imagine, for a moment, a vegetable that refuses to stay where you put it. While every other plant in your garden stands obediently in its row, waiting to be harvested, there is one whimsical wanderer that decides to take a walk. It performs a slow-motion somersault, planting its own children into the earth, moving step by step across your backyard, year after year. For generations, this plant was the playful soul of the kitchen garden. It offered fresh greens in the snow and savory bulbs in the summer, asking for absolutely nothing in return. But today, you won't find it in the grocery store. You won't see it in the industrial fields that demand straight lines and perfect uniformity. We traded this eternal, living abundance for a bag of onions that rot in a month. Why did we stop walking with nature? And what happens when we invite this old friend back into our lives? This is the story of the Egyptian walking onion, the vegetable that modern farming forgot, but the soil remembers. Welcome to Ancestral Garden. To truly appreciate this plant, we must look back at the gardens of our grandparents. They did not have the luxury of supermarkets open 24 hours a day. They did not have refrigerated trucks bringing produce from thousands of miles away. They had what they could grow, and they needed plants that were survivors. The Egyptian walking onion, despite its exotic name, did not come from the pyramids. It is a natural hybrid that likely originated in the mountains of Central Asia. It was carried in the pockets and wagons of travelers who valued one thing above all else: reliability. It was the perfect companion for a simpler life. You see, in the timeline of a traditional garden, there is a difficult season known as the hungry gap. It is that time in early spring when the winter stores of potatoes and carrots are shriveled or gone, but the new crops have not come up yet. This was when our ancestors worried about food. But the walking onion was already there. While the ground was still hard and cold, its green stalks would pierce through the melting snow, offering the first taste of fresh vitamins after a long, gray winter. It was a promise that life would return. Unlike modern onions that require us to buy fresh seeds, prepare the soil perfectly, and wait months for a single bulb, the walking onion operates on a different philosophy. It is a perennial. That means you plant it once, and it stays with you forever. It grows a cluster of bulbs at the top of its stem. As these top bulbs grow heavy, they weigh the stalk down until it bows to the earth. Where it touches the soil, it sets roots and starts a new family. It literally walks across the garden, expanding its territory without you lifting a finger. For our ancestors, this wasn't just a vegetable. It was a form of insurance. It was a plant that understood the assignment: to feed the family with the least amount of effort possible. It was nature's way of saying, I have got this covered. So if this plant is so generous, so hardy, and so independent, why has it virtually disappeared from our modern diet? Why do we settle for onions that are weaker, harder to grow, and less flavorful? The answer lies not in the plant's failure, but in our own impatience. Industrial agriculture is built on a single principle: control. To feed millions of people efficiently, the modern food system demands uniformity. It requires crops that ripen at the exact same time, grow to the exact same size, and stay exactly where they are planted. But the walking onion is a free spirit. It is untidy. It is chaotic. And a combine harvester cannot negotiate with a vegetable that decides to change its address every season. When the tops of these onions become heavy with bulblets, they fall over in every direction. They cross the neatly tilled rows. They weave a tangled web of green that is a joy for a child to explore, but a nightmare for a machine to harvest. Furthermore, the bulbs of the walking onion are smaller and have thinner skins than the yellow onions you buy at the store. They were not designed to sit in a dark warehouse for 6 months, bombarded with sprout-inhibiting gases, waiting to be shipped across the ocean. They were designed to be pulled from the earth and carried straight to the kitchen table. We chose the convenience of a vegetable that could travel thousands of miles over the vitality of a vegetable that could travel across our own garden. This shift represents something deeper than just a change in farming methods. It mirrors how we have changed our own lives. We stopped valuing the perennial things, the things that return and sustain us, and started chasing the annuals. We accepted the hard labor of tilling and replanting every single spring, convinced that this was the only way to farm. We forgot that nature prefers to work in circles, not straight lines. By rejecting this wandering onion, we did not just lose a flavor. We lost a partner. We traded a plant that offers endless, effortless food for a system that requires constant input, constant money, and constant work. And in doing so, we forgot that the best food often comes from the plants that need us the least. But beyond the convenience, there is a profound gift here for our health, especially as we age. The walking onion is not just a vegetable. It is a gentle medicine that has supported human longevity for centuries. For the gardener who feels the stiffness in their knees or the ache in their back, this plant is an act of kindness. Because it plants itself, it removes the heavy labor of tilling and bending to sow seeds every spring. It allows you to keep a productive, vibrant garden without the physical toll. It is gardening designed for longevity. And inside those wandering stems lies a nutritional powerhouse that puts bland supermarket onions to shame. Like its cousins, garlic and leeks, the walking onion is rich in organosulfur compounds. These are the elements that give it that sharp, fiery kick, but they are also what make it a guardian of the heart. Modern science has confirmed what our ancestors knew intuitively. These compounds help relax blood vessels and support healthy cholesterol levels. They are nature's way of keeping the blood flowing freely. Furthermore, the skins and layers of these onions are loaded with quercetin, a potent antioxidant known to soothe inflammation in the body. In a world where we spend fortunes on supplements to protect our joints and our hearts, this humble plant offers similar protection for the price of sunlight and water. And the culinary reward is endless. You can harvest the green stalks in spring like scallions, dig up the mother bulbs in summer for cooking, or pickle the tiny topsets for a crunchy, savory treat that lasts all winter. Every part is edible. Every part is potent. It brings a depth of flavor to a simple soup or a potato salad that reminds you of how food used to taste, robust, wild, and full of life. It does not just feed the stomach, it nourishes the body's defenses. When you bring the walking onion back into your soil, you are doing more than just growing food. You are planting a living legacy. Because it is a perennial that propagates itself, a single cluster can eventually feed your children and perhaps even their children. It teaches us a valuable lesson for the autumn of our lives, that we do not need to control everything to find abundance. Sometimes the best thing we can do is step back and let life find its own way. Imagine gifting a handful of these wandering bulbs to a neighbor or a grandchild, telling them the story of the vegetable that knows how to walk. In that moment, you become the keeper of the wisdom, the bridge between the past and the future. The industrial machine may have forgotten this plant because it refuses to stand still. But in our gardens, there is plenty of room for a little wandering. If this story brought you a sense of peace, or if you want to uncover more forgotten friends from the soil, please subscribe to Ancestral Garden. Together, let us keep these memories alive and growing. Until next time, may your garden walk with you.